Gentlemen, welcome to the Senior Estate Concierge All Chapter Meeting. I'd like to introduce to you our host, Kim Ward with Belmont Village.
Thank you all for coming. We're so glad to have all of you here at Belmont Village. We were one of the very first organizations that jumped on board to help start Senior Estate Concierge. So we love the legacy that we've had for all these years with this group that continues to grow and do great things in our community. We do offer the two best senior living communities in all of Houston. We have assisted living and memory care and a very special program called Circle of Friends for people who have mild to moderate cognitive decline. But what we really do is give families peace of mind and seniors a new beginning in life, where they re-engage, they start exercising again, they make new friends, get involved in painting classes and all kind of fun things. So it's a wonderful place to live. If you'd like to learn more for a friend, neighbor, somebody at church, let me know and we'd be happy to help you. Thanks again for coming.
You probably missed that familiar figure of Bill Graff standing up here. Unfortunately, he is under the weather and possibly contagious, so he thought it was better that he didn't show up here, but he sends his regards, and hopefully he'll be here tomorrow night for our social. So, talking about the purpose of the Senior Estate Concierge, connecting senior service professionals, build quality relationships together, build a team of trusted advisors and solution providers. Our mission: bridge the gap in the senior services industry and connect seniors and family with trusted senior service providers. We're semi-exclusive. That means that we allow 2 members per category in each one of the chapters, resource and solutions, rather than a networking group, with service providers collaborating to provide the best solutions and for seniors and families. We are not a traditional business networking group. You may have realized that already. We are an inclusive 1 member, not a 1 member per category group. We allow 2. We're not a chamber of commerce or a social club. Some of the member benefits. I know you know all these, except we've got at least 8 guests with us here today, and this will be the first time that they've seen this information. We have over 70 trusted service providers in our organization now, and we're growing quickly. We have monthly area chapter meetings. We have 6 different chapters. I think we have members from each one of the 6 chapters here today, so I guess we'll get a chance to meet those folks. We have a monthly all chapter meeting. So you got 6 meetings, and then you have the additional meeting here. We have the chapter representatives, 2 service providers per category, business marketing. We've got a website. Hopefully you've all been to the website. We have social media, and you've seen some of the social media. We have events. We have an event tomorrow night that I'll be talking about a little bit later. We have all kinds of different print media. And we have senior community education events. We have opportunity to join multiple chapters, opportunity to present at meetings and events. Referrals, very important aspect of it. We say we're not a networking company, but the first 60 minutes, first 30 minutes of a meeting is all about networking, where we have an opportunity to meet one another, set up one-to-ones, get referrals, so forth. We have a member podcast, and we'll be covering that in just a minute here. Nonprofit organizations. Most of you are familiar with the Twilight organization. We'll talk about it a little later. And Alzheimer's. We've got several Alzheimer's walks that we'll cover. B2B. How many of you were at the 32nd annual Business Bureau Clubs? All right, look at it. Got a number of folks there. At that, Bill Graff received the award for the third time in a row as a member of excellence for senior estate concierge, called the Pinnacle Award. So, you identify that as roses. And if we take that as an acronym, the R stands for what?
Resource.
Resource. The O stands for options. The S, we got two S's, but either one will do.
Services.
S stands for services. Good. The E stands for education. And the final S stands for solutions. Roses.
Roses.
Okay.
Roses are red.
There you go. Bridging the gap in the senior service industry. Let me tell you a little bit about podcasts. How many of you have never listened to a podcast?
Never.
One hand up. Never listened to a podcast. How many of you have never listened to a senior state concierge podcast? Ah. We know where the problem is, don't we?
You have some out there though.
It's hard, if you haven't listened to one of those podcasts, to post it on your social media and advertise it and send it out to all, so we get more viewers on it. So, step one, listen to the podcast. This is just a list of questions. Basically what it's saying is that if you're going to appear on a podcast, and every one of you that are members will appear on that podcast, there will be no cost to you. Zero. And there are several people in here that have been on a podcast here already, and so they know there's no cost. However, there's cost to making podcasts, and most of the time the podcast producers charge you $300, $400, $500, maybe $1,000 to put a quality podcast together. We've got a special deal. He was one of the first podcasters in the world. I met him 20 years ago. We worked out a deal with him for only $50. $50. You can have an ad on the Senior Estate Concierge podcast. So, how many of you are sponsors here? Let me see the raise of the hand. Okay, so there's a few of you that have it. So, in order to be a sponsor, I'm gonna pass this around. Just put your business card in there. Troy's already a sponsor. Put your business card in there, and we'll get you signed up as a sponsor. It only costs you $50, and it goes to all of the top, the iTunes and somewhere it's spelled out here. Spotify, iHeart, Pandora, YouTube, all of these different sites, plus the sites that are your social media sites where you're posting these podcasts. Now, let's take a look at it here. These are the ones that we've done, almost all. Chris Liebman, we did initially. We didn't even have sponsors at that time, but we did it. Bill Graff with the Graff Shepard Ellis, Shepard's here somewhere in the back. Mikey Newton, Don Bloomer, Troy Williams, talking with Bloomer, and
We're connected.
Blake Perkins is our interviewee for this week. That's not even posted up there yet, so I don't have a post on there. But those are the folks that have been interviewed so far. The rest of you, we're going to get to you one chapter at a time, okay? We don't just do everybody from one chapter and everybody. So we're circulating them, trying to get all of them covered that way. These are the individuals that are our sponsors so far, okay? And just a list of a dozen of them. We have over 70 members, so we've got a lot of sponsors to go. We appreciate those of you that are putting your card in that box, because that's what's going to help us. So you'll prepare a 50-word ad for your business. Now, what happens is you send me that ad, and then I read that ad on the podcast, okay? You make a $50 payment, you can pay by Venmo or PayPal or credit card, however. We'll be the next sponsor. The cards that are in that red box will be the next sponsor. Okay, on to, we start with the introductions of the members and the guests. We'll start off with the members, so guests, just be seated as they pass you by. I'm gonna start off, Gary, why don't you start us off? Now, Blake has got the camera, he's gonna move that camera around, so you'll be on camera, and we're videoing this entire event, okay?
All right. Well, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Gary Worrell, Centric Advisors, your fiduciary for the group. As a certified financial planner, I work with your clients to help them map out their financial success. Maybe they're trying to make a decision of to sell the home or do a reverse mortgage. Maybe they're trying to make a decision of, this facility versus that facility, how long will the money last? Or maybe they're just like, my money isn't working for me. We work with Fidelity, Vanguard, and Schwab when it comes to that. So, Gary Worrell, Centric Advisors.
Joe Barry, coming up next, is our timer. He's gonna time it himself, but, 30 seconds for an introduction.
Please do that. Okay. Good morning, I'm Joel Berry. I'm an independent insurance broker, 34 years now. I focus on life, long-term care insurance, and also short-term care insurance. Short-term care provides benefits for 1 year, and it is an excellent alternative for people who simply cannot afford or qualify for a long-term care product. Thank you.
Well done.
Hi, I'm Mikey Newton. I'm with Billy, and we provide companion assistant services for older adults. We have a platform that looks like a dating app. It's not, but we let our clients choose the person that they feel is going to be the best fit for them, and we can staff shifts as short as 1 hour. So we really are a great and flexible option. I'm also the co-leader of the Southwest chapter. We're having our next meeting on November the 5th at 8:30 at Southwest Sugarland, Land and Ridge Independent Living. Would love to have anybody that wants to check us out come.
Thank you, Mikey, and, by the way, if you would, just go ahead and mention the chapter that you were with, as we go around. Angie will come around this way. Okay. Angie, we'll get,
Hello, my back is everybody. I'm gonna come over here. I'm Angie Gladys with Medical Advocacy Plus. I call myself MAP because I map your medical care, not care, your medical journey, excuse me. So anything from doctor's appointments to looking at your insurance for coverage and in-network, as well as medication management and so on. So Angie Gladys with Medical Advocacy Plus.
Lori Maggio is a member,
Yeah,
right?
well,
I'm here for her.
this is a substitute.
Uh-huh.
for a member, okay?
Correct. My name's Killian Gilbert Smith. I work with Lori Maggio at Gulf Coast Moves. She's a sponsored podcast. We are a senior service specialty move manager, concierge to help with downsizing, decluttering, getting rid of junk, anything like that to help the move be easier and less stressful.
Hello everybody, I'm Blake Perkins with the Junk Luggers of Houston West. We're an eco-friendly furniture and junk removal company, the leader in sustainable junk. We try to donate, recycle, refurbish as much as possible, keep it as much out of the landfill as possible, all while helping support local charities. So give us a call at 1-800-LUG-JUNK.
Well, good morning. I'm Troy Williams with Oasis Senior Advisors. We're the puzzle masters of senior living. Often families don't know what their end state is going to be. We help them paint that picture, create the puzzle, and give them options, and some of those options can be you. Troy with Oasis Senior Advisors.
Dawn Bloomer, I'm a nurse. I own a franchise that's over 55 years old. My franchise is about 6 years old. We do in-home care, We also do home health. We just got our Medicare certification, and with our companion services and personal care, we can work with nurse delegation. So if someone needs caregiving services, they have a little higher skill set, we have nurses on staff that can evaluate for nurse delegation as well.
Good morning, Jenna Buchanan with Capstone Hospice and Home Care. We're members of the Northwest chapter, co-leader to Troy. We are a hospice company that's boutique. We're a small company, right? I mean small, but we're locally owned, and when our team works with a family, it's the same team members over and over. So when you have a nurse with one of our patients, it's the same nurse over and over and over again. So you form really great bonds and can kind of contribute to the quality of life to that patient. Jenna with Capstone.
Hello everybody, Colin Atchison with Blue Moon Estate Sales. We're a franchise business. We operate in the west side of Houston, based in Katy. What we do is estate sales traditionally, but what we're moving into from now on is senior move management, with the estate sale being part of that. So we'll be taking seniors from where they're helping them to sort of to downsize and get rid of property that they no longer need or wish to take with them, and then helping them to sort of them move into their new accommodation. Again, Colin Atchison with Blue Moon Estate Sales. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Victoria Amos. I'm also with Blue Moon Estate Sales. I work for Colin. I do the business development and marketing for them.
Hi everybody, my name is Dan Wire. I'm with Assisted Living Locators, and my wife and I, Hannah, we work with seniors and their families to kind of navigate the myriad senior living options and find sort of the best options for where they are. So, thanks.
Hello, my name is Mila Gill. My background is in nursing and clinical psychology. Since 1991, I have been seeing mentally and physically sick people. I love it. I think it's one of the talents I born with it. I'm good at what I'm doing. So with my experience, I used to teach at the Wayne State University in Michigan for many years too. But I combined my skill together. I opened my home health agency in Hedwig Village Memorial, Houston, Texas. Firstly, we focus on medically complex patients, mostly children. But now we expanded to the Medicare, so we do the original Medicare home health, skilled nursing, and the therapy. Also, we do the private duty nursing. That's our specialty for the children and adult. I hired and train my nurses very well. Mostly they have a background in ICU and emergency room. They have more than 20 years of the nursing experience. And then they are wonderful. So we provide the 24 hours, services. Also, we do the caregiver service, private pay. Nice to meet you.
I'm sorry, we'll have the rest of the guests when we finish the members. Go ahead,
Okay.
Richard.
Richard McCrory with McCrory Construction. Uncle Richie, we're remodeling contractors and aging in place specialists. And the power of TSRC, we're gonna do some work with you guys, and I had a lady at the last meeting call me. She's gonna join Mikey's chapter, with the full bathroom remodel, the tubs, boom, boom, boom. So this is the best group in the entire city. So make money.
I couldn't figure out it behind me. Hi, I'm Lori Ferris. I'm the founder of Senior Living Specialists Houston. I'm a certified dementia practitioner as well. Like Assisted Living Locators and Troy at Oasis, I help families navigate the maze of senior living communities. Often, their first thing is they don't want to move, so they want to stay home. So I need all the people here, all the resources here to get them to safety and care. It's Lori with Senior Living Specialists.
Go ahead, Wendy.
Oh, okay, Wendy.
Go ahead. Introduce
Wendy's a
yourself.
guest. She's a guest. Oh, okay, she lost her voice.
She's lost her voice. Don't make her stand up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Scream it out, Wendy, come on. How about?
Yeah, she can say, this is Wendy Johnson Birchie spoke here about a month ago. You might know her, she was a sales, marketing, sales director at Belmont West University. And now she has joined our team at Senior Living Specialist. So very proud and honored she chose to work with us. So she's gonna make me more professional.
And I'm sorry, when you told me she'd lost her voice. Stephen, you're next.
Stephen King, Senior Health Services, work with all the seniors on their Medicare situation, help them understand the puzzle and the conundrum. Anything that's Medicare I can help with, and this is the time of year to make those changes. Initial enrollment period is October 15th through December 7th, so they need to get going, they give me a call. Stephen King, Senior Health Services, and I'm in the Central Chapter.
Okay, I'm Shepherd with Spring Branch Medical Supply Store. Let's get this out. I'm Central Chapter. And we're retail medical supply store located over there at Long Point and Bingle. It's a 5,000 square foot showroom. But we also do business to business where we're working with hospice and home health companies. As you will, Gail will talk about this later, but we're having our social tomorrow night at our store from 5:30 to 7. Anybody want to RSVP? Yay. Okay, so if you guys could just let me know if you're going to be coming, that way I can get a head count because we didn't get many RSVPs. But we're looking forward to all of you being there, okay? And then, okay, thank you very much. Shepherd, please bring this.
Hi, I'm Debbie Demrest with Eloquently Speaking, and I am a professional eulogist. Having to speak at your own loved one's funeral is just too difficult. Eloquently Speaking, we listen, create, and then present a eulogy using your own words so that you're free to grieve the way you need to. And I work with everyone because we all hit that point at some point in our lives. I'm the co-leader of the Central Chapter and look forward to talking with you all about this new venture I'm on.
Nice.
I'm Alan Berger, but I have a voice problem.
Okay, we've covered all of the members, except one. I'll go at the end. So let's start with the guests, and Tim, would you start us off?
Yeah, sure. Tim Newman with Mobile Dental Associates. We are a mobile dental practice that comes to homes, senior living facilities. We treat medically complex, special needs all over Houston, So we can treat people in their bed, in their wheelchair, do just about anything that our regular office, which is right down the street, can do except implants. So extractions, dentures, fillings, cleanings, you name it. So happy to treat anybody. Welcome to the
I've got 10 minutes.
Hello, my name is Tabitha. I work at Inner Wisdom. We are a mental health facility that provides intensive outpatient group therapy. So we can treat your patients just like a hospital can, except on an outpatient basis. We do all the transportation, breakfast, lunch. We also do genetic testing. And yeah, Tabitha from Inner Wisdom. Thank you.
Thank you. Say group, so you have to have a group to do it?
Yeah, so we do group therapy. We do PHP and IOP. We don't do individual. We only do group.
So like if we had one person that needed it, they'd go to you and be in a group. Got it. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Good job.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Ruth, owner of Bright Star Care in downtown Houston, and we just purchased Bunker Hill. So glad to be in this area now, and we do home health and home care. We have both services. Glad to be here.
I'm Betty Battolini. I'm a CPA. Work for an 18-member CPA firm. We do just about everything: accounting, any kind of tax return you want. We specialize in, we do a lot of states and trusts. We like to think we're a firm that has a personal touch. We care about our clients. Usually they know us. Once you get to our firm, you get assigned to one CPA. She's your main point for as many years as you use our firm. So we love our clients. I also do elder care accounting, where I go help the elderly people
people whose children may be out of the city, they don't have time to spend with them. I'll go to their houses, help them with their finances, whatever they need, and so that they can still live in their house. Griffin and Company's my firm. We're in Sugar Land.
I'll go this way so I can face everybody. Hey, I'm Netta Prudham with Advanced Diagnostics in River Oaks Hospital. River Oaks Hospital is just right at the Galleria. We're a full-service boutique-style hospital, and we do have an ER, but our ER is not on the 911 dispatch. So any of you home healths or hospice, any services like that, assisted living, you know, we can do your stat CTs. I mean, obviously we can do a lot more than that because we are full service, but just wanted to give you that heads up. And also, Mikey, thank you for having me today. I sincerely appreciate it. And we have an event happening at Hearsay at Levy Park on November 7th. And so if I get your card, I'll include you in that invitation. And it's out to nursing homes, home health, hospice, rehab hospitals, long-term acute care hospitals. So it's really the senior long-term care facilities and environments. So if you want to come, let me know. And again, my name is Netta with Advanced Diagnostics in River Oaks Hospital. Thanks for having me.
Did we cover everybody?
So my name is Rosa Clay, and I am a mediator for the courts, and I settle conflicts. And as we all know, there's a lot of conflicts when loved ones become ill. I personally have walked through that, and it's horrifying. So my mom is actually here in Belmont. She's in a lovely place, and I know everybody, what they do is very valuable. So in addition, I'm a mediator, and I'm also a wellness and life coach. So I have some skill set to bring to the mediation, and that perspective is a way to settle cases. And also I do have my insurance license, so I am versed in settling different cases. My name is Rosa Clay. Optimal Health is my company.
Have we got everybody? Okay.
Right on time. 12:20.
I better say it quickly then. Only have 30 seconds, right? So, you may know me as Gail Stolzenberg, the growth coordinator for Senior State Concierge. But I'm also a member of Senior State Concierge as a senior wellness coach, helping seniors and their families live longer, healthier lives with a combination of nutrition, physical activity, used to call that exercise, stress management, memory improvement, and a lot more. So next I'm going to introduce to you our guest speaker. It is Dr. Sadaf Momin. AUD is audiologist. She's the founder of a Nova Audiography doctorate from the University of North Texas, Bachelor's of Arts from the University of Houston, Communications Science with the highest distinction, member of the Academy of Doctors of Audiology, serving from newborn to geriatric, administering non-sedated audio brainstem responses with the special needs population, helped establish audiology clinics for a major hospital out in Sugar Land, and she speaks Urdu and can help with language barriers. Help me welcome Dr. Cohen. Take us a moment to switch laptops here.
It works.
there?
Yes, there it is.
Is it there?
Yep.
Do you have a kisser?
I don't
Oh, that can answer.
I don't know, it'd be nice. I don't know, one that would be connect one there. That would be cool. Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, let's get seated, folks.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
My name is, thank you for the introduction. My name is Dr. Moman. I'm an audiologist. And that introduction took me back so many years. Because yes, I did work with pediatrics and I did work with the special needs population, but my passion I found during COVID is really providing mobile audiology care at active living and senior communities. So in Houston, Texas, especially the 55 active living community is growing. A lot of people are choosing to, once they're empty nesters, sometimes sell their home and go to a part of a 55 active community and really just become independent and enjoy the activities they have there. So my goal, and I love to hear about mobile dentistry as well, is really to reduce doctor's appointments and come straight to you. But today we're talking about seniors and bridging the gap, and I love that because that's what it's all about. With hearing care and ear care, you can have a patient who just goes to see their audiologist and they clean out their hearing aids and they change out their filters, and then they come to see me during a free clinic I do at their community, and their filters and their hearing aids are plugged again. And can you imagine, COVID, I go back to COVID, but when we were isolated, the social implications of that. I mean, my friend is a psychologist and she's still dealing with people who have anxiety and depression from being away from family. So people who truly have hearing loss, who are living in their own bubble, and my goal is really to test hearing, clean ears, provide a treatment plan so that we can have the best quality of our life. So that's what I'm here. Today's topic is about brain and hearing. Oftentimes hearing is just swept under the rug. There's a lot of stigmas, which thankfully is changing now. But there is a connection with your brain and hearing, and that's what I want to talk about today, and I hope that you can take something away from this. Gaining knowledge is the first step of wisdom. Sharing it is the first step of humanity. So I truly feel blessed and privileged to have an education here in the U.S. My parents, moved from Pakistan close to 40 years ago, and their goal was just to educate us, me and my two sisters. So I feel like education doesn't serve a purpose, and I feel like hearing everybody today, I think we're kind of all the same, is we're really out there in the trenches to help the seniors especially. So without that, I feel like there's no purpose. If I still don't know what you said after 3 times, I'll just smile and nod and hope I didn't just agree to help you move next weekend. So you don't have to have hearing loss to really have ever experienced this. It happens to all of us. We ask someone, what? Ask them again, and then the 3rd time we're just like, I'll just go with it. I don't want to frustrate that person, or whatever it may be. But if you truly do have a hearing loss, this happens all the time, over and over again. And what happens is you kind of just become the wallflower, the wallpaper. You just become kind of in the background. I wonder why, I told Grandpa about my scholarship, and he didn't really seem that excited. And I'll just stop sharing my stories with him. And really, Grandpa had no idea what he said. And so that causes disconnection. A lot of communication breakdowns ultimately can affect relationships. It happens with spouses, right? Oh, my husband's watching. I know the shows he's watching and when not to talk to him, or when to tell him I need a new purchase when he's not paying attention. So yeah, so those are the kind of things that we experience. But really, hearing loss, we laugh about it and things like that. But when you're truly experiencing it, it affects our life in so many ways. So some questions, nobody has to answer them out loud. Difficulty hearing, maybe in quiet you do okay, but in noisy restaurants, having trouble. Asking people to repeat themselves, okay? Now, every so often it's normal, but is it more often than you used to 10, 15 years ago? Trouble hearing little people. These are my two little people here. So the little ones have, you know, more high-pitched voices. So any trouble with that? Is the TV ever too loud? Misunderstandings. Oh, I thought you said, you know, do you want fish? I didn't know what you said. Fish or dish? Does it ever feel like people are mumbling? If you can just speak clearly, I can hear you. So that's, you know, some of these are the first signs of it. During COVID, a lot of people came out of the woodworks. And what happened is that since we were wearing masks, suddenly you're not able to read lips. So although we don't really sit there and read someone's lips, we do rely on body language and facial cues. So with that, people are like, what's going on? And then they came in to get their hearing tested and found out, oh wow, you know, I have a hearing loss. So there is a progression of hearing loss, okay? It's not like you wake up one day and suddenly I cannot hear. If you're 55 and up, you should have a baseline hearing test, whether you're having problems or not, because any health issues or anything that happens, it can affect the hearing. But, you know, you start to strain to hear, and then you might just kind of fake it, and then you get a little bit embarrassed, and then you withdraw, and then there's isolation. So a lot of my patients will say, well, you know, I used to go to brunch, and now remember, I go to a lot of independent and assisted living communities. I used to go to brunch, or I used to go to book club, but it's just not enjoyable anymore. I can't hear Martha, and she gets annoyed with me. Or, you know, I have to ask people to repeat themselves. So you start just withdrawing, and then it comes to the point where you just now isolate yourself. On average, people wait 7 years after they're diagnosed with hearing loss to do anything about it. So how long does it even take for you to get there? So you have to add that up. So most of the times I'm seeing people, they've already had hearing loss for 10 plus years. This, thankfully, statistic has changed from a lot of people who are doing education and things like this. And a lot of the baby boomer population is very, very into research and learning about it. So they're the ones who are proactive. Like, what do I do? So this has changed now from 7 to 5. We hope with all these brain studies we're going to talk about today, it moves from 5 at least to 2 to 3. Okay? So I'm just going to touch on this a little bit. But when you go for your general visit with your physician, if they even look in your ear, if they do, they're going to see up to the level of the eardrum. Is there wax? Is there a foreign object? And is there a hole in the eardrum? Everything past that is not seen unless if you see an audiologist. So how are the middle ear bones moving? How is the sound going to the cochlea, which is about the size of my pinky? That then goes to the brain. So, you know, you could be having, especially if you have arthritis or anything like that, your middle ear bones are the smallest bones in the human body. Those could be stiff. And so you're sitting on your hearing loss thinking, oh, well, I don't want hearing aids, or I don't want to be told I have hearing loss, when really you could have been to an ENT and it's a quick minor procedure, they fix, you know, the way the bones are moving, and now you're back to hearing better. So there are people who I see that I end up having to refer to an ENT. If you have a history of noise exposure, you know, veterans or military, you're going to have oftentimes a hearing loss in the inner ear where it's a permanent nerve damage. So by the end of your appointment with an audiologist, if all is done, all of the assessments are done, you should know how everything is working. And if there is a hearing loss, at which point is it occurring, okay? Now, the most typical type of hearing loss, and it's also age-related hearing loss, is in the higher tones. The higher tones is where our consonant sounds are. The lower tones is where our vowel sounds are. So, who's familiar with the show Wheel of Fortune? Okay, so when they tell you to solve a puzzle, when they give you consonants, R, S, T, L, N, E, the more consonants you have on the screen, everybody's ready to solve the puzzle. If you have more vowels, it's harder. So a lot of people are walking around with this type of loss, undetected, undiagnosed, and they're having trouble with the consonant. So that's why things are not clear. Well, I know you're saying something. I'm not deaf. You're just not clear. You're not mumbling. We like to project, right? So that's because of the consonant. So I want you guys to see. You're the youngest group I've ever presented to. So I want you guys to see if you can solve the fill in the blank, the first word. Okay, and the second word, it's two separate words.
Orange juice.
Okay, good. I was like,
What was it?
who said that? Good. That was the fastest response I've ever gotten. Okay, that's awesome.
Too much fortune.
He likes his OJ.
Most people, right, kind of were trying to figure it out. Why do you think that is? Why is the second one harder to figure out than the first?
No consonants.
Exactly. So that proves my first point where we need the consonants to make sense. So you're going to see some words on the screen. Just say them out loud as soon as you see them.
Toast.
Basket. Table. Lunch. Tracks. Lines.
Okay, let's keep going. That's for me to say, but let's keep going.
Glass. Washer. Buckle. Coast. Stoves. Shoes. Lunch.
Okay, you guys did good. Usually, like I said, if there's a little bit of a lag, you guys just had a little lag at shoes. But why was there that? I bet if we timed it like a little millisecond change, right?
Yeah.
What? It's not that you suddenly forgot how to read. What was the difference? The fonts, characters.
Fonts and how they were disorganized.
How they were disorganized.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's relate that to our hearing. Okay, so you didn't just suddenly forget how to read. So just like with our hearing, when we hear something in a quiet situation, we might do fine. But if we take that same conversation and we go to Papacitos on a Friday night,
It's low.
it's hard. It's harder. So your brain is taking time to process what is being said. Okay, so that's the kind of basically link I wanted to make with the brain, and works with vision too. So I want you guys to really pay attention to this study. It's really awesome. So there's a study done, University of Colorado, with Dr. Anu Sharma. She's an audiologist like myself, but she worked with neuroscientists, and they put electrodes on people. And basically what they found is when you read something, your occipital lobe lights up. When you hear something, your temporal lobe lights up. People with hearing loss, when they hear something, their frontal lobe lights up. The temporal lobe might light up a little bit, but the frontal lobe is lighting up. Now the frontal lobe is reserved for higher cortical processing. So what's 2 times 2? What's 8 times 8? You're trying to solve a crossword puzzle. You're trying to solve a Sudoku puzzle. That's what the frontal lobe is being used for. It should not be used for just casual conversation. So if you ever hear somebody kind of straining, like turning their head to hear or squinting their eyes to read, they're using their frontal lobe. So at the end of the day, yes, they'll say, I'm getting by, I do fine. But at the end of the day, you can have something called listener's fatigue. I don't know why, I'm just so exhausted. And that's because you're having to try so hard. Okay, so imagine sitting there and I give you 100 back-to-back equations to solve. You're gonna get tired. Even if you get it right or wrong, whatever it may be, you'll get tired. So that's the same way. How is that enjoyable? So what happens eventually? You stop trying. It's too much. I'll just skip out on my grandson's graduation lunch thing. I'm going back home, ready for a nap. You're exhausted, okay? So this study was so important that found that this actually is happening in the brain. I think it's safe to say now that hearing care is a part of healthcare. Yeah?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Our ears are amazing. They're shaped like this funny shape for a reason. They help funnel sounds to the ears. So when we have sounds coming to both ears, it helps us to orient and actually helps us with balance. We know with seniors, the balance, the risk, what is that called? The fall risk assessments, things like that you do to make sure. That is so important, and actually our ears are related to that. The auditory system, that little cochlea I showed you before, it houses our vestibular and our hearing in there, auditory and vestibular system. It helps us to focus, okay? So if I'm talking and let's say someone's talking around you, your brain is able to focus, so like this is what I want to listen to, and you're able to tune out. My husband's really good at that, like I said. When his game is coming on, he's really good at that. So,
It's a male thing.
it's a male thing. And then you're able to separate, okay? So you're able to separate, tease out the signal for the name. You're able to recognize, if you have 2 daughters, 2 sons, you're able to tell their voices apart, okay? So the brain does all of that. So, hearing loss and cognitive decline. One thing, when these studies started to come around, there was a lot of scare going around, like, oh my God, if you have hearing loss, you're gonna get dementia. Absolutely not. I think people took these studies and they ran with it, you know, and there might be some people who are presenting a false narrative for their benefit, which absolutely, it's crazy, but it's not true. There's a lot of things that have to happen for dementia to occur. But I can stand by the statement that hearing loss does lead to cognitive decline. And one example I can think of, and I think it's appropriate to share with you guys being professionals, is there is a son whose dad lived in another state. Mom passed away. The dad and the mom were living together. He was very independent, taking care of mom. He moved dad here after mom passed for him to be closer. And when he moved him to independent living because dad was doing everything, he's independent. When he got to the community, they said, oh no, absolutely not. He needs to be in assisted living within a few weeks. And he was confused, and he happened to be at my presentation, so he came and talked to me afterwards. He said, Dr. Moen, can we do a hearing test? Something's not right. I mean, my dad was doing everything. So since the son wasn't that much socially interacting with dad, he didn't see the signs of hearing loss. And it was more apparent, I think, with life changes and everything like that, you know, and the hearing loss kind of got worse. So we did his hearing test, did the whole 9 work, did the treatment plan for him, and within that same week, the staff was just like, who is this person? He's like signing up for all the activities, and they moved him back from AL to IL. So that is the type of difference it can make in someone's life, okay? So Johns Hopkins recently came out with 26 published studies regarding hearing and cognitive decline. Now, I would like to say, just like we cannot say smoking causes cancer, we can say smoking is correlated with, you know, cancer. Same way, we cannot say hearing loss causes cognitive decline, but we do see that there's a correlation, okay? Correlation between accelerated brain. So as we get older, this is a normal size, you know, brain. As we get older, our brain actually does shrink. It's normal for it to happen. But if your brain is getting less stimulation from any of your senses, or you know, I'm sure alcohol, all of that has a role to play with it too, but it will actually reduce 23% faster if you have lack of stimulation to the brain, okay? So these are actual scientific studies that we are seeing. Now let's talk about the social isolation. So you think, okay, well, I live by myself. I don't have to engage in these activities. I get my food sent to my room. I'm able to get by. I don't need to, you know, look into my hearing because I'm getting by. Well, what happens when you are forced to kind of go in a loud situation? So let's say, once again, it's your granddaughter's wedding, and now you're having to go to a cocktail party, and it is loud. Just because you have hearing loss doesn't mean that you're not going to hear all the music and all of that. Your brain, because you've kept it in such a quiet environment, it actually is overstimulating and it's almost too much, okay? So now you're uncomfortable in that type of a situation. So the solution is not really isolating yourself. So here's just to summarize what we talked about. Hearing loss leads to lower signal quality, leads to higher cognitive load. You actually see physical changes in the brain like we discussed. You see changes in the behavior, and then you see health problems. You can get depressed. I mean, imagine just not being able to hear all day, you know, your favorite music or whatever it is. And then dementia, accelerated cognitive decline, or just things that can happen, okay? So we have 5 senses, but there's only 2 you could do anything about. Vision and hearing. So why not optimize those? When I do this presentation, oftentimes, I have patients admitting, yeah, I read lips, and I also have macular degeneration. And they have trouble hearing. And I'm like, well, you're relying all of you, everything is just on your eyes. You're putting so much weight on that. So it's really important to be proactive about it and really understand. So, you know, some of this is more geared towards the independent assisted living, but these are common things that, you know, people want to address. My friend said this about their hearing. I heard this. Isn't it true this? You know, what happens if? There's so many questions, you know. So what happens is that you just sweep it under the rug. We all do that with things we don't want to worry about. But what I did is I developed a best comprehensive practice, you know, best practice comprehensive test. And I understood that what people are lacking is proper guidance. So you go to Costco, you get your free hearing screening or whatever they do there, or you go anywhere where they advertise free hearing test. Guys, we're all old enough now to know anything free, we need to have a radio. So, my thing is, don't go to those places, or don't send your loved ones to those places where they're at risk of coming back home with $8,000 hearing aids and having like, what do I do with these? This is what they said I needed. And they have no idea of, you know, all their options. Because honestly, it's not always just hearing aids. I mean, when we're talking about hospice care, there's pocket talkers. There's times where I come out to hospice communities and I say, well, let's have pocket talkers for you. So if during the end of their days, you know, God forbid they're having trouble hearing their family, they can put on a pocket talker and it goes directly to their headphones so they're able to hear. Okay? Or nurses about medication. It's not always hearing aids, and sometimes it's not practical hearing aids, because if they have dementia, they're going to be losing these devices. So my goal is really to create a customized treatment plan for the family. So it is not only meets their budget, but also it's appropriate for them. Okay? So by the end of the appointment, you should know what degree of loss it is. A test we do is a speech and noise test, which oftentimes, once again, at these free places you don't get. Our world is not quiet. It's not just raise your hand when you hear the beep. It's noisy. So we do a test in noise to see how you do. And once again, this is all assessments we can do in the comfort of the home. We do bone function testing. Can we just monitor the hearing and wait on treatment? If you have a really mild loss and it's not affecting your day-to-day life, you don't need hearing aids, and don't let anybody tell you or scare you that you need them. It's maybe something we just need to monitor. What are locked hearing aids? If you go to Miracle Ear and Beltone Ear, nothing against them. I don't know how they do. They might do great. But one thing to know is that those devices are proprietary. They're locked. So if you move, if your patient, the person you're seeing, if they are moving to another state, so like assisted living locators, or whoever, if you guys are helping a family and there's a risk that they might be moving to another state, don't get them, send them to Beltone, because if they get those hearing aids, now they move to Colorado and they don't have Beltone there, they can't do anything about them. When you get hearing aids, they're at least a 4 or 5 year investment, and so you want to make sure you get a good company that is known nationally, if not globally. Okay, so these are all the things I guide people towards. Over the counter, Apple just came out with the Apple AirPods, where you can put on, you know, those devices. So if that's something you could qualify for, we talk about that. So I developed a clear hearing IQ process, which basically, like I said, it covers everything. If you're within my zip code, appropriate zip code range, something I do that most people don't do is I do the hearing test, I create a treatment plan, and if you qualify for hearing aids, the same day I put hearing aids on and you try them out it's a test drive, 7 to 10 days. Just wear them, see how you do. You go to the dining hall, and all of this is without them, you know, leaving their home. So same day better hearing, and our goal is to just get you treated right away. just a little testimonial from a patient. I'd rather not read out loud, but concierge audiology is just growing. You know, we're in these communities. We go to Del Webb, Sweetgrass. We just started with Del Webb, Fulshire, Arista. We're in multiple Brookdale locations. We come here as well. Clearwater, Houston Heights. We go to country clubs, and then Grand Living. So we're all around Houston. I'd like to wrap this up with this quote: "To know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived, this is to have succeeded." So with two little girls, I'm exhausted by the end of the day, but this is the quote that keeps me going. Thank you so much, guys.
We have time for a couple of quick questions.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Sure. So at what point
Oh, excuse me, sure.
do hearing aids not work for age-related hearing loss?
That's a great question. I mean, that's where the consultation part comes in. So the hearing test is one thing. The consultation part is so important that I feel like that's where the guidance is lacking. We're able to tell during the consultation, you know, is dementia, and we keep really close contact with adult children. So is there concerns about cognition? You know, are they able to put them on and off? Are they able to charge them? So those are all the kind of features we need to look at to see if this is even an option. So everybody's so different. I mean, I have a 95-year-old patient who's just joining all the activities and has a social life, and then there's a 70-year-old patient who's struggling. So I don't think there's an age as much as, you know, the capabilities.
I used age-related decline for hearing rather than an acute issue, you know, like a single noise or you know, a head strike, something like that.
Oh,
so
I
as
see.
you age, and you're going to lose hearing anyway as
Yes.
you age.
Yes.
Is there a point where hearing aids really aren't useful or helpful?
If you get to the point where your hearing loss is so severe to profound, sometimes you're at the point where you need a cochlear implant, which is a surgical procedure. The patients who are between a rock and a hard spot are those that are elderly, so surgical option is not, you can't go through surgery, and hearing aids are just not going to help them. But hearing aids will still help them with environmental cues. So if they live by themselves, the fire alarm goes on. They need to be able to hear that. That's a safety thing. So it just depends on the degree of loss.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. Yes, sir.
Ringing in the ears, talk about that a little bit.
So tinnitus, I mean, I could do a whole hour presentation on tinnitus, but there's a lot of things that cause tinnitus. The number one cause is hearing loss, but also, you know, noise exposure, any type of vascular issues. I've heard even like certain dental issues can even cause tinnitus. There's so many things, it's hard to pinpoint, but no matter who you go to, your physician or ENT, if you mention tinnitus, the first thing they'll say is, have you had a hearing test? Because you need to see those hearing losses. Sometimes it could be even in the high frequencies. It's happening in the brain, not in the ears. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Any tricks after flying to pop your ears?
Oh gosh, I struggle with that too. I think just, you know, kind of doing the Valsalva kind of to pop it, and just letting it, if you have a cold or allergies or anything, it might take longer for it. It's the eustachian to really try to kind of get back, but I think that's really the best, and eventually it kind of gets back to normal.
Okay.
But yeah. Yes, ma'am.
It's about insurance. Do you
Yes.
have any idea if they're going to start looking at it? You know, the teeth you get twice a year, your eyesight you have to go get it. Do you think they'll include the ears? I mean,
So,
it sounds like
right now, I believe Medicare, they cover, like Medicare covers a hearing test for free. So if you have Medicare, they cover it. I don't know about private, you know, other insurances. The only thing Medicare doesn't cover, unless if you have Medicare Advantage, Medicare doesn't cover, traditional Medicare doesn't cover hearing aids. But one thing I would like to say is the hearing test is one thing. The second part of it is the hearing consultation. So while you sit in the sound booth, you have your hearing test and all of that, what happens, the next step is understanding. Okay, well now what do I do? Or is there anything for me to do? So oftentimes if you even go to an audiology clinic, a reputable clinic, there might be a fee associated with the consultation part. And that's really just to cover their time, because I'll be honest, Medicare reimbursement. Okay, so if you're looking for really good care and you need the consult part of it, there might be a fee attached to that. But otherwise they do cover the assessment, the test. Yes, ma'am.
Where can we find the literature to share with? Will you, recommend that we share the literature that you shared about
the brain?
brain?
Yes, of course.
'Cause I said it to someone and they kind of laughed at me.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I would love to share.
Yeah, so I can
the
send that
literature.
over. Maybe the easiest way would be to send it
Sure.
over to Bill. I have his email. And then John Hopkins has studies like I mentioned about it, and they're really reputable universities. So I think that would be good to share. I also can give you my business card if they want to directly talk to me. They can. And I think I'm so happy with what Apple came out with, because it is allowing people to talk about it. And I really feel like the stigma over the years about hearing aids and hearing is slowly going away, especially with its capabilities now with Bluetooth. I mean, honestly, I'm jealous sometimes I can't wear them, because you could have those hearing aids and connect them to your phone, connect them to your car, you have them connected to, there's even a manufacturer who has a fall risk kind of thing on their hearing aids, where if they notice a fall, then it alerts the adult children that your parent might fall or something might go on. So there's pretty cool things like that.
Oh,
Yes.
I mean, considering that my weakness is reality TV, the Golden Bachelor really helped the hearing aid thing. And Kris Kardashian on the Kardashians, she's like had a whole stigma thing about it. So you just need. She needed to when she called the Golden Bachelor in for a moment, but she's going to get them. So I mean, it's going to happen where there's not a stigma.
I mean, I always tell people, if you have a hearing loss, okay, and you get treated within 3 to 5 years, versus you wait now 20, 30 years down the line, your experience is going to be completely, you can't catch up all those years. Your brain is going to say, what is this? The hearing aid is just a widget, okay? It's important, you need a good quality device, but it's also the programming behind it, your brain accepting these new sounds, all of that makes a big difference in how you're going to do. So, most definitely.
Is there a relationship with now using AirPods that could cause future damage to your hearing?
Depends if it's loud. So if it's not loud, you wear earpods, you'll be fine. One of my friends texted me, she said, I listen to my podcast all the time. It's on a normal volume, nobody can hear it. But I just noticed tinnitus, like my ears started ringing. And I said, just take them out, give it a break. And she said it went away. So just follow your body, signs that don't overdo it, but it won't affect your hearing per se.
Okay. Ted, one more question?
Yes.
That was the last one.
Awesome.
All right, let's get
Thank you
Dr.
Now you gotta switch back to your computer, right?
Oh, yeah, let me get mine.
Okay, announcements. Shepard already did a preview of tomorrow night, but 5:30 to 7, it'll be at the, did you say on there? Spring Branch Medical Supply.
8700 Long Point.
Again?
8700 Long Point Road.
8700 Long Point. What's the cross street on Long Point?
Bingo.
Bingo, okay. Very easy to
For
find.
those who are hard to
Yes,
get the
Kim?
street.
How many of you have participated in our Festival of Trees?
Look at that.
Okay, so Festival of Trees is a tree decorating contest. If you would like to be one of our organizations this year that decorates a tree, and then you name a nonprofit, and for every vote you get, you donate $1 to the nonprofit of your choice. Please see me after, I still have some spots available. And TSEC is doing one, but like if you as a business owner want to do that or whatever, your organization would like
That's the second one that
We have, we're doing it at this location and at Westview, so.
Excellent. Okay. We had a great social last month. We're gonna have a great one this month. November. Who would like to host the social? Do we have any takers? Anybody that has a facility or roundup facility that would like to host it? If not, we'll explore that, okay? Alzheimer's Walk, Northwest and North. Troy, anything to say?
October 26th, be there at 8:30 if you're going to join us. I am giving away a Perry steak dinner for two for any individual who collects donations of 1,000 or more.
All right, great incentive right there.
So far, I'm going to be awarding one person. It is doable, by the way.
Nice dinner.
Of course, the one at the University of Houston on November the 9th. We already talked a little bit about the tree decorating. That'll be on December the 5th. No all-subject meetings in November. Lori, would you talk just a minute or two on the Twilight for us?
Yeah, so the Twilight Wish, for those guests that don't know, it's like a Make-A-Wish, but for seniors, we grant wishes to people, either item they need, like a walker or a ramp for their house, or, you know, something they need, or an experience, like go to the Astros game, or we've had a couple really lovely things, meet this professional boxer, or things like that. So our problem is that we are not getting wishes. So, you know, we have had a meeting amongst the Twilight Wish Committee. We are going to print new brochures, and we're going to go out and just encourage you, once we get these brochures, to, when you're doing a sales call, if you lead with Twilight Wish, Jen and I have learned this, you can really talk a lot more, because you're like, you know, have you ever heard of Make-A-Wish? We are, you know, Twilight Wish, we grant wishes for seniors. It's, you know, it's the nonprofit for my networking group, and I also do this, you know, I work in hospice, whatever. It's just people love Make-A-Wish, and they love it, but there are some prerequisites, you know, it has to be income-based. And so all they need to do is apply, and then it goes to a wish committee, and then it comes, they're all over the country. The wish will come down to Houston, and we'll send a query out to everyone. This is a wish, who can help us make this happen? So,
on that brochure, are the criteria listed for?
Yes, it's income-based, they have to be given back, you know, in some way to their church, a veteran. Always veterans get their wishes. I mean, and it isn't outrageous. But I mean, if you just even follow Twilight Wish, we have a Twilight Wish Facebook and Instagram page, but even just Twilight Wish, I mean, the cutest things. They just threw a prom at a skilled nursing, you know, it was like their sister took a train, they hadn't seen each other in 20 years, you know, I mean, these aren't like, you know, giant wishes, they're just things that people want to have, happen. A pair of shoes, we've given a mattress to someone.
Okay. Thank you, Lori. One more thing to do. You thought, when you were gracious enough to put your card in here, that you would just have the opportunity to give an ad. But in addition to that, we've got a giveaway today. So Troy, would you draw a card out of the box?
Who wants it?
People?
Who wants it the most? Who in the room wants it the most? Don't forget you are what you eat. Okay? All right.
I did not put my card. I can get it.
Hey, take it however you want. Here we go. We have Alan Berger.
Okay, Alan.
Oh, you must be present to win. Oh, sorry. Berger. He can't talk anyway. All right. The second is Mobile Dental, Tim Newman. All right.
All right, Tim.
Are we doing
Right. Would you push that?
I'm afraid that we limited the
We want to
call.
thank each and every one of you for being here.